Yo, what's up YouTube? Lone Wolf Gaming here for episode 61 of Tales of Arise. Last time we investigated Lenegis a little bit and talked to some people trying to locate the forbidden area.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden? I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
So, the training fanatics at Law and Alphen decided to try to be more like Dohalim. That's funny. That is hilarious. Well, let's head to the forbidden area.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, they're sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron.
I don't think any of them would care. Especially Balzuf. Did you see it? Do y'all remember his domain? It was all brimstone and fire. Ganabelt, well, maybe he would care slightly, but I doubt it. Almadra, she would just use probably her own people for her experiments anyways. And Volron, he'd just as well make him his own power than anything else.
Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
And nothing less.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals?
Probably because he is Renan, and they are Danan. Did I get them backwards? I think I did. I don't know, though.
Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
And I got it backwards. Alphen, Danan, Dohalim, Renan. Okay. Yeah, that's great. I can't believe I got that confused. It's a bit embarrassing, actually. Alright, I guess we're gonna talk to people who support the lords. You want to know which lord I support. Why? Are you canvassing out for someone? I'm with His Excellency Erwolsley Tedalus? You probably know him better as Balzuf. I know a lot of people consider him to be a giant brute. Believe me, I realize he can be an aggressive man. What those people don't realize is how much he looks after the members of his own house. It's fair to say that House Tedalus doesn't enjoy much esteem. Those of us who serve it, it will be the first to admit that.
Yes!
But His Excellency always stands up against any who would mean us harm. Of that we can be sure. His efforts in the crown contest aren't only for his family, but to improve the standing of each and every member of his house. I personally find that very hard to believe.
Yes!
I owe so much to His Excellency, I could never dream of serving any other lord.
Balseph had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
Well, you can't do that no more. He's dead. Lord Dohalim, you have returned. Ah, and I see you brought aides with you. Do you remember who I am, my lord? Surely you must, yes? Not only do I support House Icarus, but more specifically, his lordship personally. So much so, I've been trying to share my appreciation of his lordship to any who will listen. In fact, I was planning to publish my extensive writings on the subject through this very terminal for all to read and enjoy. But since the lines appear to be cut due to the recent tumult, I've been unable to upload them. Well, we got a Dohalim fanatic here. That's cool. I know, since you're all here, I'll just read them aloud. I don't think that would be necessary. Ahem. There exists the most handsome man, a man who radiates beauty, whose every word, every syllable is divine poetry. Yeah, I'd say she's a fanatic. He hails from the famed House Icarus, and his name is Lord Dohalim. Music is his passion, the arts his greatest loves. The scores of boorish, uncouth men of the land cannot begin to compare to his magnificence. Yeah, she's a fanatic. So refined and majestic is his posture. Why, the mere thought of it brings me to ecstasy. It's fanatic. Once he becomes our sovereign, Rena shall bloom anew, ushering in an era of prosperity for our grand civilization. Until that glorious day comes, I shall forever be praying for his victory, morning, noon, and night. And now she's out of breath. Well, what do you think about it, my lord? I poured all my heart and soul into it, hoping to capture your very essence. Wait, I forgot to mention anything about his love for collecting things. I must take this time, while the lines are down, to amend it. Only then will my masterpiece be complete.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them, too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
I think that's a good idea. Well, I never. To think anyone would try to tear me away from House Valkyris.
What?
What do you want? Don't tell me you work for Lord Dohalim or that dreadful Lord Almadria, do you? You don't? Well, don't scare me like that. To answer your question, I come from a family that has served House Valkyris for generations. Indeed, I am doing all that I can to support Lord Getabout behind the scenes, so that he might emerge victorious. Does he know he's dead? Probably not. But many think him to be a cruel man, I must insist. They're utterly mistaken. Though I won't deny he can be strict, he puts Rena's interest in front and center like no one else. Why, he advocates that rather than stay confined to Lenegis, we should get on with colonizing Dana and expand our horizons. That way we will become masters of both worlds and overturn the current minority status on Dana's surface. Why would I have a feeling that Law and Renwell would slit his throat if they had the chance? That is why he seeks to become our next sovereign. Tell me, is there a greater, more noble ambition than that? I think not. Is it a pursuit of power for the advancement of our kind? Is it what makes him an exemplary lord, a model above all others? Though I was unable to accompany him myself, my two sons have been blessed with the honor of joining him on the surface. As their father, it fills me with endless pride. His sons are probably dead, too.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people, yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Because he just couldn't. Let's continue forward.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis' transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
Luckier indeed. But honestly, this place looks quite nice compared to the other district. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk to this cat here.
Pardon me.
This area falls under the sole jurisdiction of House Canaris. I must ask you to depart at once. Surely you don't claim to be ignorant of our famed house, ruled over by the esteemed Lord Almadria. She would sacrifice you before she even thought of it, Renan woman. If so, I urge you to listen well. In fact, I bid you listen carefully regardless. Have you ever noticed how in the history of Lenegis only a few women lords have emerged to compete in the crown contest? Many have theories as to why this might be, but Lord Almadria quashed the doubts of any naysayers through sheer might. In fact, not only did she usurp her father and previous family master, she also removed her older brother to claim the seat for herself. You know, I don't even like her just by hearing this. I didn't even like her before, so... She is a woman who stops at nothing to get what she wants, who gives her enemies nary the slightest opening to strike. Truly, Lord Almadria is a woman of talent. No one in Rena better exemplifies the virtues of our nation's meritocracy. Soon the age of glorious women sovereign reigning over Lenegis shall be upon us at last. Sorry to tell you this, but she dead. Another lord killed her, actually, but
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right, too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
how loathsome. Oh yes, I was reading about Lord Voron. Can I help you?
Okay.
I was always an ardent supporter of Lord Urwagil Hildress myself. Were it not for a sudden death down on the surface, I likely still would be. In my eyes, Lord, I'm not even gonna say that, is the Water Lord. Okay, so, okay. I don't believe for a second he perished in some accident like they say. As for how Lord Voron runs Ganeth, don't get me started. I hear he enslaves not only Danans, but even his fellow Renans. So this guy is a bit more informed than the other people. We may live in a society where the victor goes the spoils, but his actions go against what we stand for as a people. Besides, I just what sort of family line is this House Ignacary of his anyway? I never heard of it until he came along, which means they must be among the lowest dregs of society. That such an ignoble lineage could suddenly produce an actual artist capable of ascending to lordship is unheard of. None of it makes any sense, not to mention all of the upheaval around here of late. What is happening to our people?
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganeth Heros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
Well then. I do not know where to go, so I'm just gonna explore till I get a pop-up.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfrikt Milgras, the former Lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfrikt whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renan by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Corps existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Well, after learning that tidbit of info, and learning about the previous lords, as well as the lords that we slew, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. I hope y'all enjoyed and have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out.